Commissioner, how does it feel standing on the turf at Wembley Stadium bringing the Union Jack Classic to London next year?
Really excited. I mean, this is a historic venue that has hosted some of the biggest events, global events in the world. And to think that on September 19th, we're going to bring two of our conference members to play college football here is just an amazing accomplishment. And we're really excited. And listen, you only have one chance to launch, so why not launch at one of the finest venues in the world? So it's a big moment for our conference.
College football fans in the UK are really excited about you bringing the game over here. What do you say to the college football fans who are here and what to expect in a year's time?
They're going to experience some of the best college football that exists. You know, college football is the #2 sport in America. So the goal here is, you know, how do we bring that event here and get, you know, fans throughout England to experience it? We know there's 17 million American football fans here. You know, they've experienced the NFL since 2007. It's a great time for us to bring college football here. And we bring a great style of play, but we also bring a cultural experience, you know, great pageantry, the school bands, the dance teams, you know, rituals. All of that will unfold here. You know what? We're going to bring the best of college football to Wembley. That's our goal, that's our ambition, and we're excited to do that.
I listened to you and Scott Draper at Media Days, and you were very upfront about bringing the league to a global audience. Why is it important to bring the Big 12 to a global audience?
It's part of our overall growth strategy. You know, I've been the commissioner for 3 years. You know, my initial goals were how do I stabilize the conference and set us up to grow and thrive. And I think going global is a part of that overall strategy. You know, how do we plant our flag in important markets across the world? I just was in Dublin in August and experienced an incredible event there with two of our schools for a conference game. And to me, this is kind of the next chapter. How do we bring what we experienced in Dublin right here to Wembley? And, you know, there's a short-term and long-term strategy with our international growth. You know, first and foremost, how do we provide great experiences for our student athletes, many of which don't even have passports. So they're going to come here for the first time with their families and experience something amazing. There's also the opportunity to drive enrollment to our member institutions, recruitment for Olympic sports, and obviously raise the global profile of our conference. Long-term, it's how do we monetize, candidly, our international TV rights. So there are short-term goals, long-term goals, but most importantly, we want to bring a great event to the market here. I took the Brooklyn Nets here to the O2. I've experienced, you know, the fan base here in England. They love American sports, and college football is the #2 sport in America. So it's time that they get to experience that live here at one of the most iconic venues in the world.
You've had Big 12 teams over in Ireland. You've got Big 12 teams coming to Ireland next year. How did you settle on Kansas, who are big? We know Kansas very well from our podcast. They're great supporters of us. How did you settle on Kansas and Arizona State as your first two teams for the Union Jack Classic?
So many of our schools raised their hand, you know, when we said, hey, we're going to go global. But Kansas, you know, had an opportunity to move a home game here to Wembley. It is their home game. And Arizona State obviously was their opponent in week 3. So that game will unfold here. But they're very ambitious as an institution. They have a head football coach that truly wants to globalize his program. And coming to Wembley in England was a first step for them as well. But many of our schools want to follow in their footsteps, and this is not a one-shot deal for us. We want to continue to build equity here, no different than what the Jaguars do. Mm-hmm. So our ambition is to be here annually with the Big 12 conference game, and hopefully that'll happen with our friends from the Union Jack Classic.
And without jumping too far ahead, because I don't want to do that, we know that Michigan are going to play a game in Germany at some point. We've got the game in Ireland. Both you and Scott talked about there being more than one college football game played in Europe. What are your ambitions beyond the one game in Wembley?
Well, I think there's lots of different markets, you know, that we can go to. And candidly, you know, drafting behind the success of the NFL that they're having globally is a part of our strategy. You know, they're opening up the door, they're cultivating fan bases all across the world. So, you know, when I think about their footprint, you know, they just, well, obviously they're playing in Germany. I think they announced something in Brazil, that they're going to go there. Obviously, that was their first time a couple of weeks ago to go to Dublin. So, following their footprint in the appropriate markets that embrace American football is kind of part of our strategy. Obviously, we're playing in Dublin a second game next year when we play an ACC team with TCU. We'll be here, and I'm not sure where we go next. But Germany, we've had a lot of interest in going there. A lot of football fans there.
Exciting and changing times in college football. Exciting times to be the commissioner in the Big 12. How happy are you with the progress that you've made, and how excited are you about the future of college football?
Well, first of all, from a conference perspective, I often tell people, as long as they'll listen, that there's never been a better time to be part of the Big 12 than right now, and I firmly believe that. We have 16 institutions. We're in 10 markets. We're in 4 time zones. We have schools that are performing at the highest levels. They're making all the right investments, and it's playing out, you know, each and every weekend, especially in college football, which is the anchor of any collegiate athletics program. And we've got 4 teams in the top 25 right now. We have a chance to get 2 teams in the college football playoff. That's our goal. And so we're having a great season. So college football continues to grow not only in our conference, but across America. Ratings are up double digit. Attendance, you know, is growing every year. It's an amazing sport that fans are embracing. And I'm just excited to take that game right here to England and Wembley specifically.
Well, I look forward to seeing you back here in a year's time, and thanks for coming over
Thank you.
and supporting us over here.
Thank you very much.